My friend Casper sent me a link to a talk recently from Terence McKenna, who was a great metaphysicist, a great cosmologist. He was interested in all things metaphysical. He's quite an outspoken guy. But he did a great talk on there which I really liked, called Find the Others. And when I listened to him do this talk, I thought, this is what I've always done. This is what I've always done, or it's what has always happened to me. When I've done the work, when I've sat at home and I've done the work and I've created the work, I've always been able to expand my conscious net and place myself in the vicinity of other people who are doing what I'm doing. You're probably watching this now, and you're probably searching, and you're probably working on improving yourself and expanding yourself and growing, and you probably feel like you're on a lonely path. You probably feel like you're the only person in the world doing this. So you're on the internet looking for somebody like me or other people like me to kind of share your story. And when Terence McKenna says look for the others, he's kind of saying put yourself in the company of other people like you. Put yourself in the company of other people that believe like you. Put yourself in the company of other people that are looking for something like you. And I remember thinking, that's really true, because when I was younger and I wanted to do stuff with my life, I wanted to be a writer, I wanted to be a full-time martial arts teacher, I wanted to do fantastic things, I wanted to live on that dangerous edge, that idea of having coffee at 2 a.m. with your heroes and doing amazing things, being on film sets, making plays and working with actors, working with artists, working with people that are breaking all of the rules, and people that don't even know there are rules. I love the idea of being out there, but when I was younger and working in a factory with 500 people, I was the only one. And when I talked about my ideas, of course I came across as being pretentious. I came across as being odd. I came across as, like people thought I was better than what I was. And of course, or better than them, but of course I knew I was better than the factory. I knew I was better than sweeping floors. I knew I could do a lot more than that. Not that that was worse or better than anything else. It just wasn't what I wanted to do. I knew there was something else for me out there. So you're surrounded by 500 people, 500 naysayers, 500 people that don't speak your language. You're surrounded by 500 people that don't think it's possible. You're surrounded by 500 people that think there is an us and a them. 500 people that think there is an enemy out there. 500 people that think there's limitation. 500 people that think there are certain things that are not possible. 500 people that just work for the weekend, that work all week and clock in and clock out and can't step outside and breathe the free air or take a piss without permission. And they just live for the weekend, and the Friday's nice because they can sleep in Saturday, although they might do some overtime. They get Sunday clear off, but they've got Sunday off clear, but they dread Sundays because the moment you put your head on the pillow, you're back up for work, doing a job you don't want to do. And they don't even know really why they're doing it, only that it's what they've been taught to do. So you've got 500 people saying it's not possible to do anything else. That makes it very difficult to break out, doesn't it? It makes it very difficult to go out and do something fantastic, because every time you try and get an affirmation or confirmation that it's possible, you're surrounded by 500 souls that are telling you it's not possible. And some of them will dislike you for thinking it's possible. Some of them will even attack you, for believing it's possible. Later on, when I'd gone into other circles, I looked around, and what Terence McKenna said was actually true. I'd found others. So suddenly I'm not sitting with 500 people that are saying it's not possible. I would certainly be sitting in BAFTA or the Ivy or the Groucho with 500 people that actually didn't think it was possible. They fucking knew it was possible. You sit in BAFTA, you're sitting with the best film talent, the writing talent, producing talent, directing talent, acting talent in the world, on the planet, without question. You are surrounded by people who know it's possible because they are doing it every single day. All your meetings are with people that are doing it. All your conversations are with people that are doing it. When I was in the martial arts, when I was younger, I didn't believe it was possible. You know, the idea of teaching martial arts for a living was fantastical. It was like, my first wife didn't even know what it meant. She didn't understand what do you mean teach martial arts? Who's going to pay you to do that? And I didn't know anybody that was doing it. I didn't know a single soul that was doing it. Then when I finally did do it, I found myself around lots of people who were doing it fantastically, amazingly. So I was surrounded by people that were not only saying it was possible, but they were expanding way beyond me. You know, I was doing some one-on-ones and running a club 5 nights a week and making a living. These guys have got full-time centres. One of Rick Fay's students had 5,000 students. He had an escalator in his gym between floors because it was so big. You had other guys that would got 2 houses and 3 cars, and travelling the world and teaching on the world stage and using their money that they'd earned, using it to get better instruction, to get higher instruction, to develop their own libraries. It's amazing. So this is the point I'm trying to make, is that people say put yourself around other people. Find the others that are doing it, so that you know it's possible, so that it becomes normal to do exceptional things. Exceptional things aren't exceptional, they're just normal. But what I found is that in the beginning you probably are always going to be on your own, because you're in a frequency. You're in a specific state where everybody within that frequency, everyone within that state, is thinking and doing the same things. So it's very difficult to find other people unless you're wise enough to invest in a mentor, or to invest in books. Books and audios and videos is the first way to put yourself around other people and to find other people. But to actually be in the company, instead of being in the company of 500 people that are saying no, to put yourself in the company of 500 people that are saying yes, you have to break out of that frequency. And to break out of that frequency, you have to put yourself in another state. And you put yourself in another state by doing the work. And the work is always about you standing in front of the parts of you that don't believe it's possible and making it possible. So you can start that initially by buying experiences, by using the money you've earned. Like, I remember Rick Young doing this, when Rick Young is an amazing Scottish martial artist, and he was a postman for many, many years. But every bit of money Rick earned, he paid to go and train with the best people in the world. He spent a lot of time in America, till eventually he was one of the best people in the world, and everybody he was surrounded by were other people that were doing what he was doing. He was surrounded by some people just below him, some people just above him, some people way below him, some people way above him, but he was always surrounded by people that were full-time martial artists, that were teaching martial arts, that were doing extraordinary things. Same with writing. But he had to earn that state. He had to change that state. I remember saying to Rick once, me and Peter Constantine said to him, you shouldn't be a postman. You know, you're too dangerous to be a postman. You're too good to be a postman. He was saying, I want to be world class one day. And we were saying, well, you already are world class. You just don't see it yet. And then suddenly he gives up his job and he becomes this incredible, charismatic martial artist, world class martial artist. So you have to change state. You have to earn that new state. So what Terence McKenna is saying is right. Find others like you. But to find others like you, you've got to break out of that frequency. If you're listening to local radio, and it's, Bristol FM or Coventry FM or whatever, you can go round Coventry FM or Bristol FM or whatever it is, a very local radio station, all day long. You can do that all day long. You're not going to get to Radio 4 from there. You're not going to get to Radio 2 from there. You're not going to get to Radio 1 from there, because they are in a different state. They're in a different frequency. You have to change frequencies to get out of Mercia, to get out of Coventry, to get out of Bristol. You have to change frequencies to get out of your local club. You have to get yourself above the frequency you're in and go into a new frequency. And then you don't find others, you don't find other people like you. You're just suddenly in the vicinity of other people like you. You're suddenly in the frequency of other people like you. You're suddenly in the same state as other people like you. So the moment I became a member of the Groucho Club, and I had to change states to do that, I had to write something that got me in there because it's a members only club, and I had to believe I was worth that. I had to do the work to prove to myself that I was worth that. Suddenly I'm sat in there and I'm a member and I'm staying there in the hotel, and I am automatically surrounded by the best talent in the world, the best artists in the world. These are people that live in it. These are people that are doing it. So you see it's possible. You're not looking around thinking that there's no reference points here for my success. I can't see anybody else that's done it. As a younger person, I was surrounded by people. I never met a single person that had written a book or written an article or was a full-time martial artist, or I didn't know a playwright. I didn't know a single one. I didn't know a film writer. I didn't know any actors. You know, I had no. If I saw an actor in the street, I'd stand staring with my mouth open because it's like, that's that guy off the telly. Because it was so unusual to me. So you have to change the state you're in to go where you want to go, and that continues with everything you do. I'm not just talking about material things, and you know, as being an artist, I'm also talking about metaphysical things. You know, I'm talking about money as well. You know, obviously money's metaphysical as well, because money doesn't exist. It's just an exchange of energy. We buy our fish and chips with sound and symbols. Next time you go in and buy fish and chips, have a think about how you do it. You use sound and you use symbols on your card, or you use symbols on your £5 note. We're already using magic. And if we want to do it to a higher level, we have to be around other people that are doing it to a higher level. Some people are manifesting amazing things in the physical world, and for you to believe it's possible, you need to be around that, and to be around that you need to change state, and to change state you have to start working on yourself. You have to start working on all of these things that block you, all of these old beliefs. Then you will earn yourself into a place where you will find the others. And when you find the others, you'll realise that, of course, you're one of them. There's no us and them. There's just... there's no us and them. There's just one big collective. Realised eschatology, which I've spoke about before on these podcasts, basically says that the second coming of Christ is not an external thing. It's the birth of consciousness. In other words, the expansion of awareness. The birth of consciousness means that we become aware of what was already there. It's like opening rooms and opening other rooms and opening big rooms into bigger spaces and finding what was already there. And the teacher, like me, is just here to say, well, it's possible. Because I've done it. I've gone into other rooms and I've expanded into other rooms. I've been in limited rooms. I've been in limited beliefs, and I've expanded into bigger ones. And I'm telling you it's possible. I'm not thinking it's possible. I don't think it's possible. I know it's possible. I absolutely unequivocally know it's possible. And when you're around 200, 500, 5,000 people, you know, I'm a member of BAFTA at the moment, and I'm on the voting panel. So there's only 6,000 people in the world in the voting panel, and I'm one of them because I won a BAFTA. So I'm surrounded by 6,000 people that have either won BAFTAs or been nominated for BAFTAs, who we all know it's possible. I'm sat opposite, I'm in the Groucho having lunch, and I'm sat opposite Harvey Weinstein. My wife says to me, Geoff, you wanted to experience winning an Oscar. This guy's been nominated for 150 and I think he's won 70. She said, you got to think bigger. But suddenly I'm in the company of someone that's showing me that's possible. If everybody in my company was winning BAFTAs, it would all seem very possible. It would all seem very probable. All of my friends are writers, artists, you know, screenwriters, playwrights, high-level martial artists. I'm surrounded by people that are doing it. You've got to change state. If you change state, you will find the others. Start by going out and investing in books. Get your living teachers through the books. That's an amazing start. Invest in yourself.